Hi, today I want to talk to you about the non-metallic parts of ancient Greek armor and especially helmets. I have with me some of the nicest examples of reconstructions of Greek body armor made by some of the best armorers around the world. However, bronze is actually the easiest part to reconstruct with certainty about the authenticity. We have hundreds of specimens found in very good condition, sometimes in excellent condition. However, we have very few finds of the organic materials that went inside the armor. This has been a mystery for reenactors and reconstructors. The forms and the materials and the construction techniques of the padding of the helmets. We can be fairly sure that a variety of paddings has been used, and this is attested by the vase representations and sculptures. Some of them show a simple cup. We do not know the material that is being represented. Some other times we see clothes wrapped around the forehead, and even caps, usually worn alone, like the Phrygian cap. It had ear flaps that were tied over the head, and that acted as a form of padding or a form of extra padding. This has posed a problem as to how we will reconstruct as authentically as possible the padding that went inside the helmets. The first and simplest padding I have used was a felt cap. This is possibly one authentic way. However, we do not have finds in a Greek context. We do have finds in Roman contexts, and since it's such a simple material, and the Greeks used felt for their hats, their Petassos hat, their Pylos hat, the Boeotian cap, possibly they also used felt. This is covered in knitwork, which is hardly authentic for the period. But anyway, this was the first try. It works. It's a simple cap. Still not very satisfactory. My second try was to cover the whole helmet in leather. This is a parachute lining. It fits very well, it looks nice, but it was not invented until many centuries after the ancient Greeks, so still not satisfactory. The real progress started when I found out that a few helmets have been found with traces of their padding, actual caps, found inside the helmets. None of them is Greek with certainty. In particular, we have an Italian Nego helmet, possibly Etruscan, with a cap made of grass and covered in goat skin. which is preserved in a very good condition. And also a helmet from a Greek shipwreck of the 5th century BC, found off the coast of Majorca. The problem is that it's not one of the common Greek types of helmet. It looks like a pilot's helmet, but without the brim, so it's a conical helmet. Still, on the interior, it had almost perfectly preserved a lining that was also padding, made very similarly to the Etruscan helmet. The fibers, however, were tested, and they were made of willow. I do not know exactly which part of the willow, but I suspect that the branches were pounded with a mallet to separate the fibers, and that was covered with felt. So felt was used, perhaps not as a standalone padding, but as a lining to an additional padding. And we find also other parallels of woven interiors of helmets on earlier Italian helmets, where the padding was actually the main material, the base of the helmet, and on the padding were added discs and bosses of bronze. So the first example I made the leather removable, so it can be replaced easily, or I can sew the construction on the interior. Like the originals, it was made in a spiral, and this is very soft and springy and provides excellent cushion. The problem is that it doesn't look exactly like the ancient find. The ancient find looks to be woven, whereas this is simply, yes, you can call it woven, but mostly I have woven a few lines just to secure the main material. When you wear it inside the helmet, it feels as if this alone could stop a blow. So I was satisfied with the material. The material is raffia. I don't know the material of the Etruscan find. But after looking closer to the photos, I have not seen the original up close. I realized that they used a coiling basket technique. So my newest helmet, by the way, this is a Corinthian helmet made by Matt Lux, and this is a Corinthian helmet made by Craig Seats of Manning Imperial. And this is a very nice customer's helmet from Magyar Workshop, where I had to make the lining, padding, and the crest. We don't have direct evidence that the entire helmet was covered in leather, but I did do that, and I do that in most of my helmets. It feels nicer. Possibly it offers just a bit of extra protection. Your skin does not touch the cold or hot metal depending on the weather conditions. But most importantly, this has a different cap inside. This is made in a coiling technique, and it does look very similar to the remains of the originals. And on the inside I added goat skin. It is made for someone with a slightly smaller head than me, but this is how it looks. Again, this one alone feels as if it would stop a blow on the head, and maybe this is why the original helmets usually are made very, very thin in the skull, and this is why they weigh so little. Often they weigh, a Corinthian helmet like this one will often weigh close to 900 grams, less than a kilo.